back to the second episode of this ALL-UC4H Copter series. And in this episode I want to tell you a bit about the hardware and the firmware. Now the hardware, that's the hardware you need. Flight controller, GPSs, ECs, Aureolets, power brick with such a LiPo voltage sensor, the OLED display with the notify leads and the rangefinder. And then on this table here there's an additional piece of hardware which does not go on the copter. It's an SLCAN adapter and it allows you to spy or sniff the messages on the CANbus. It allows you to upload firmware on the CAN nodes and to do the configuration and so on and so forth. So this is really a highly useful piece of hardware, and the good thing is you can buy it from J-Drones. So we settled that, we can throw this away. Yes, this next thing I want to talk about before we go on is the cabling. When you look at how I'm doing the things, you very often will find that I'm not using the proper plugs, but just and proper cables, but just wire my own stuff to it. And I do that because getting this sort of stuff is really extremely cheap, and doing modifications and so on is very easy. And I'm not using that often with proper plugs here, and that's simply because the plugs were expensive and I need a lot of them. And also the wires, the wiring, the cables to use with plugs is a bit of an issue. I mean, you can get excellent wires from shops like J-Drones or M Robotics, but for the number of how many I need, I find them too expensive. You also can get wires from Asian sources, like this ones here, for example. However, they are too short. I find them way too short. They're 15 centimeters and they are way too short for me, and they're also quite stiff and so on. So I don't like them really that much and don't use them that often. Okay, so this is a wiring situations. You have seen there's a lot of options, and you will find the one which is best for you. Now, when you look again at this table of and the hardware on it, you will see that much of this can be bought. You can buy the cube, you can buy this GPS modules, you can buy this KISS ECs, the Aureolet strips, you can buy this voltage sensor, you can buy this OLED and also the piece of electronics here, you can buy the rangefinder. However, there's also a lot of things which you cannot buy, namely all the dedicated PCBs, like this one here, like this one here, like the carriers here, like this one here, and here's also a dedicated adapter board. Well, how to get this? I can't help you with that. That's a bit of a stumbling stone to get across that. One thing I can tell you is that what you can buy is this general purpose UC4H node, also from J-Drones, and the electronics on this board is essentially identical to the electronics of all the other boards. So in some sense, all these boards here, they are nothing else than general purpose boards, just put into a convenient shape, made for the purpose. So this implies that when you get these things, you can build this here, 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 you can build this here. You can't build the cube carrier for obvious reasons, but all the other you can build with a couple of them. Obviously, such a build will be need a lot more wiring, is a bit hacky, and so on and so forth, but that's an option if you really want to do that. Otherwise, in other communities, people help each other, sometimes sometimes organize group buys or group assemblies and such things. So I don't know, I can't help you here. I'm not a manufacturer, I'm not a vendor, so how you can get to these things. But there are options, but it's not extremely easy, I admit this. Okay, if you need the layouts for these PCBs, they are all available on my GitHub, in my GitHub repository. So this brings us to the firmware. What you need is Mission Planner and the UAVCAN GUI tool. And for this series, I will assume that you know how to install and use Mission Planner, and that you also know how to install and use this UAVCAN GUI tool. I will use both of them quite a lot, but it's not part of the series to discuss them, so I assume that you know how to use that. What you will need is the firmware for the flight controller. It's BetaCopter 367, so it's a fork of stable ArduCopter 3.67. And you also will need the UC4H firmwares, but all that you also can get for free from my GitHub repository. So I guess this is what I wanted to tell you in this episode. So goodbye and see you in the next episode.